One day, I was innocently looking for more references and examples for my current works about the Shia in my favorite Shia websites, which provide all their major books. More precisely, I was looking for what their exegetes say about Surah 13. So I went to this website's Quran page. Of course, you can find the main Shia exegesis like Tafsir al-Qummi, Tafsir Nur al-Thaqalain, التبيان في تفسير القرآن, البيان في تفسير القرآن. There are also books related to Quran studies. However, I noticed one kind of books with similar titles, books that refute the corruption of the Quran, like those سلامة القرآن من التحريف, شبهات حول القرآن, and عدم تحريف القرآن. But those books aren't meant to disprove some other sects of Islam, but to try to defend themselves, since the Shia are notorious to have books claiming the Quran is corrupted. They keep denying, but honestly, what would you believe if you read this title on a Shia book? The clear speech in the confirmation of the corruption of the God of Gods book. But this wasn't my topic, so I continued my research about Surah 13. I picked the famous Shia tafsir called Tafsir Furat al-Kufi, famous because the author Abu al-Qasim Furat ibn Ibrahim ibn Furat al-Kufi is a friend of Sheikh al-Kulayni, the Imam Bukhari of Shia. This is what you can read in the exegete of Surah 13. He gives strange interpretations like the fig is al-Hasan, the olive is al-Hussein, the Mount Sinai is Ali, and the city of security is the Prophet. Now my question for Shia is, who is watermelon? You may say that this tafsir is a minor one, not as known as Tafsir al-Qummi, the Shia tafsir, because al-Qummi is a direct companion of the 11th Shia Imam Hassan al-Askari, so he took the knowledge from an infallible Imam. I say, well, then let's see what al-Qummi said. He said, the fig is the Prophet, astaghfirullah, and the olive is Amir al-Mu'minin, and the Mount Sinai is al-Hasan wal-Hussein, and the city of security is the Imams. This is the Shia tafsir. Then, when we get to the verse, we can easily understand that Allah Azza wa Jal is not addressing the Prophet for the sheer reason that the Prophet doesn't reject the religion. And this is what we find in Tafsir Ibn Kathir. He says, after this means that after you, son of Adam, have known about the first creation of Allah, and that you have known that who is capable of the first creation is obviously capable of resurrecting the dead for the judgment day. Then Ibn Kathir narrates a hadith of Imam Mujahid, who was the student of Abdullah ibn al-Abbas, the companion and the cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mansur said to Mujahid, is Allah addressing the Prophet? Mujahid said, God forbid. He meant that God was addressing the man, and this is what also said Ikrimah and others. But what I read in the so-called Tafsir Furat al-Kufi is this. The 7th Shia Imam Musa al-Kadhim was asked about the verse 7. The Imam said, God forbid, no, I swear by Allah, this is not what Allah said. It has not been revealed like this. Then the infallible Imam gives the original version. In reality, Allah said, فَمَنْ يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ, and the deen is Amir al-Mu'minin. So what is the difference? فَمَنْ يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ instead of فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. As we can see, the difference is small, the letter N, Noon in Arabic. What are the consequences of such a change? The consequence is that we have the two types of corruption. Number one, corruption in the text of the verse, فَمَنْ instead of فَمَا. Number two, corruption in the meaning of the verse. In the what case, Allah is inquiring humans in general about the deen. In the who case, Allah is inquiring the Prophet about who will deny Ali as the deen. The author of the clear speech, An-Nur al-Tabrasi, said, Ali ibn Ibrahim is one of the greatest narrators in the time of Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, and the Sheikh al-Kulayni conveyed from him many sayings in Usul al-Kafi. Al-Qummi is the greatest Shia Mufassir, and Al-Kulayni is the Imam Bukhari of Shia, author of Al-Kafi, the Sahih Bukhari of Shia. You got me. Let's check both of them. Concerning Al-Qummi, I didn't need to search a lot. He states in the introduction of his tafsir, so in the Quran there are abrogating verses and abrogated verses. and fundamental verses, and allegorical verses, and verses with general meaning, and verses with specific meanings, etc., etc. Then he says, and there are letters in the place of other letters, and there is what is different of what Allah revealed. In this kind of situation, when we are not certain about the meaning, we really appreciate the help of the footnotes. It says what he meant is that some words have been removed, like in this verse, O Messenger, proclaim what had been sent to thee from thy Lord about Ali, peace be upon him. Now Al-Kulayni Tabrasi informed us that he conveyed many hadiths of Al-Qummi in Usul al-Kafi, which means that Usul al-Kafi are likely to narrate hadiths about the corruption of the Quran. Fortunately, we don't have to look in another website. We just need to look in Tafsir al-Safi of the well-known and revered Shia Sheikh al-Kashani. He has one complete introduction about the corruption of the Quran. Introduction 6, page 40, entitled Concerning what came as information about the compilation of the Quran, is corruption, addition, removing, and the interpretation of this. He says at the page 52, however, concerning the creed of our scholars, may Allah be pleased with them, about this, what appears from the trustworthy of Islam, Muhammad ibn Yaqub al-Kulayni, is that he believed in the corruption and the removing because he narrated hadiths in this sense in his book Al-Kafi, and nobody discredited him, considering the fact that he in the beginning of his book said that he trusted all what he narrated in it, and the same for his master Al-Qummi, and the same for Sheikh Ahmed ibn Abi Talib al-Tabrasi, because he also followed the way of both of them in his book Al-Ihtijaj. And if you want to know the personal opinion of Al-Kashani about the corruption of the Quran, you just need to go to the page 49. He said, I say the benefit we can take from all this information and hadith from Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, is that the Quran which is in our hands is not as complete as when it was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Actually, there is inside it what is opposite to what Allah revealed, and there is what had been changed, corrupted, and many things have been removed from it, as for instance the name of Ali alayhi salam in many places. Besides, the classification is not as to the will of Allah and His Messenger, peace be upon him and his family. This is why Ali ibn Ibrahim said in his tafsir, and there is what is different of what Allah revealed. Same website, another tafsir, Tafsir al-Ayyashi. He narrates that Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As left Uthman's house and met Amir al-Mu'mineen, peace be upon him. He said, Ya Ali, we spent the night busy with something we wish that Allah fortifies the Ummah with. Then Amir al-Mu'mineen said, what you spent the night on shall not be hidden from me. You corrupted, replaced, and modified 900 letters, corrupted 300, replaced 300, and changed 300. And he recited the verse. The footnote indicates that this has been quoted from Tafsir al-Burhan, or al-Burhan fi Tafsir al-Quran of Sheikh al-Bahrani. There are 9 of the main Shia tafsir in this website, and extra books that refute the corruption of the Quran. However, 5 among the 9 tafsir affirm that the Quran is corrupted. In reality, there is a 6th one, al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran of Ayatullah al-Khou'i, in the chapter entitled The Protection of the Quran from Corruption. He concluded, so from what we have said, it is now clear to the reader that speaking about the corruption of the Quran is nonsense and illusion. No one states it, except those with weak minds, or who didn't carefully look to the truth. However, the safe-minded one and the just does not doubt that this is nonsense and invalid. So here, Al-Khou'i clearly refutes the corruption of the Quran. But if we look at some pages above, he speaks about a Quran called Mushaf Ali, or Quran of Ali. He said, verily, the existence of a Mushaf belonging to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, different from the Quran in the classification of the chapters, is something that no one can doubt. And it is certain that his Quran contains more than the common Quran, but there is no proof that these additions are from the Quran. The correct interpretation is that these additions are explanations and interpretations, or revelation from Allah to explain the meaning. The reason why the Shia scholars had to include the corruption of the Quran in their religion is because they found out that their religion is completely opposed to what is in the Quran. So they had to choose between their religion, which gives them a lot of advantages, or the Quran. They chose their advantages. Whoever pretends that the Quran is corrupted, added, or removed verses is a kafir. And whoever pretends that believing in the corruption of the Quran is not kufr is a kafir. And I challenge the Shia to show me one fatwa of the 12 Imams or ayatul lat about the kufr of those who believe in the corruption of the Quran. You will not find it. This is why all the Rafida scholars are kuffar.